awesome to see all of you here. And really, some of you are just getting possibly curious. You're in the phase of, what is this all about? Some of you are, totally in it for 8 years, practicing the things that we talk about in LEC. So let me kind of give you a context. I think recently there was a lot of social media buzz, right, about the 70-hour week. And so how many of you were very excited that all the time I'm going to be there in the office? No, nobody is excited about that. All the time I'll be in office. So possibly the focus was on the wrong word, 70 hours. Maybe the focus should have been on how are we feeling at work? And are we doing something useful and meaningful, right? So it was more, I think, if you had focused on how do we feel and what kind of results are we getting or not delivering out of our work, maybe the debate would have been different. The focus was on the number of hours. So if you really think about it, it's really about how we feel at work. That's more important than the number of hours, right? That's the more critical thing. So in LEC, what we really do is we want, our journey is really about making people feel fulfilled at work. So let me give an example. How does this really happen? Okay. And what is this debate about work, life, and so on and so forth? So the traditional paradigm, really think about it, you think about this phrase of life-work balance, right? So it's almost like thinking about like this, right? It's almost like thinking about, on one side is work, the other side is life, and somehow these need to be balanced. That's the thinking, right? And somehow, if you're kind of focusing a lot on work, you're compromising on your life. And you're focusing too much on your life, you're compromising on the work. So that's why the balance word is there. But what if I tell you that they're two different things? Okay, think of it as X and Y axis, right? Life is one axis, the Y axis, and the work is another axis, the X axis. So you can't really say, substitute Y for X. Not possible because they're two different axes altogether. Now think about it. If you're only having life, no work, then actually you're retired. You're retired. If you're only having work and not life, you're a workaholic, right? So where do we want to be? We want to be in this line, where we're having both. We're having life and work. Isn't that where we want to be? This is where we want to be. So let me kind of give you an example of how this happens, or this can happen. So we were having in LEC, we have a lot of these group mentoring kind of sessions and so on. And Kirtana, she's an entrepreneur. She has got a business called Kinder Dance, right? So lovely business. So what she does is through dance, she teaches academic concepts to school children. Awesome business, right? So she had a particular issue that she wanted to get solved with the group. And she was saying, I'm really frustrated. What's the frustration about? That every day I'm at 8:30 a.m. in the office, and I expect my teachers to come at 9 a.m. And they just don't turn up. And there are all kinds of excuses. The school bell didn't come, so we had to drop our kids to school. We had to do this, emergency, that, and all kinds of things, right? And I'm really frustrated, so I don't know what to do. So we asked her some more pertinent questions, right? So she's okay, how will you know that the work is happening, right? What do you really mean? Why do you want your teachers to come at 9 a.m.? What's the purpose of that? And she said, so what's the outcome that you're looking for is the question we asked. And she said, what the outcome I want is that the lesson plans have to be ready on time because we need to submit it to schools, right? Okay, so that is the outcome that you want. Then we ask the next question. Do teachers really need to be there at 9 o'clock to make this happen, to make the lesson plans? Can't they do it on their own? And she said, yeah, they can do it on their own, but there's a lot of things that they need to coordinate with other teachers. They might need support from the other teachers and so on. Okay, so that's the reason why they need to come to the office, right? So some work they can do it at home, the other work they can do it in the office, right? So then we asked her the next question. How will you know that the work is happening or not? Then she thought for a moment, and then she kind of came up with a solution. She said, what? In the office, we will have a dashboard which tells how the work is progressing. And instead of coming early in the morning, I'll come in the afternoon to check whether the work is happening as per plan and if somebody needs help or support, right? And I tell the teachers that they can work at home, they can come to office when they need to collaborate, and all that's required to be done is the lesson plans need to happen on time, right? A week later, once she implemented this, a week later she says, so Kirtana, where are you? I'm on a holiday, right? She's gone on a holiday. And she says that she's never been able to take a holiday during this time of the year. Why? Because there was so much tension, stress at work because the lesson plans had to happen on time, right? And this incident happened around 4 years back. And I was recently chatting with Kirtana. It says it has never been, lesson plans happening on time has never been a challenge since that time. Would you agree that's a lot more fulfilling, right? So both is happening. Fulfill the work as well as the results, lesson plans. The work is happening as well as life is happening. Both are happening. So she has figured out how to go on the fulfillment line. So I call it the fulfillment line. So now let's look at these axes a little more carefully, right? So let's redefine this axis. So let's call this axis, we'll call this axis feelings. And we'll call this axis things. Things and feelings. Okay. Now what really happens at work, because things are easy to talk about. Okay, results, goals, achievements, numbers, profits, easy to talk about. Are feelings easy to talk about? They're not easy to talk about, right? And that's the reason what happens is, a lot of time we focus on the things. So in the meetings, what happens is, say, okay, what's the target? Okay, have you met the target? Have you met the profit numbers? Have you done this? Etc. Focus is always on the thing. And that's the reason why you get a lot of these kind of behaviors. What kind of behaviors? Supposing there's a person, he's having a pain. He goes to the hospital, a corporate large hospital, right? And then the doctor will say, no, you're going to go get an MRI done. It's not because the MRI was required, but it was because there was a profit target to be met. So how do you think the patient will feel? Patient will feel that they're cheated, right? You're kind of exploiting me. So next time he'll go somewhere else. So in fact, even the thing is not happening. Even the profits are going to get impacted, right? So instead, supposing the doctor was focusing on both the feeling as well as on the thing, what would he have done? He would only send the patient to the MRI if it is required, not unnecessarily, right? Because he's going to focus on doing the right thing, making sure that the patient is feeling right. He is feeling right about what is happening, the treatment that he is recommending. So that is the whole idea. So the idea is to actually, be very, very clear that we want to travel on the fulfillment line. We need to be on this line, where we can have both. We can have the right feelings as well as the right things. So I invite you to the Liberated Enterprise Creators Journey, because that's the whole objective. And you'll hear so many stories of how entrepreneurs are feeling fulfilled in their lives because they're focused on the right things as well as the right feelings.